Someone faked a NSFW pic of me and my stepbrother and started a rumor. The first thing I did was send it to my bestie so we could enjoy it together. Look. This position would totally wreck Michael's back. My bestie was silent. Half an hour later, I realized I'd sent the message to my stepbrother. Just as I was about to try and fix it, he sent a message. It's manageable. Excuse me? Manageable? What's manageable? The position, or his back? I was scrolling through the latest gossip about my stepbrother, Michael, and this influencer, Bella, when I stumbled across a photo of me and Michael. A high-res, uncensored one. I tracked down the account. It was a brand new burner. The comments were a dumpster fire. EW. Who's this ugly girl trying to get clout off Bella's man? Isn't that Mr. Grant's stepsister? I can't believe they're so messy behind the scenes. Well damn. I kinda ship it. That position, though, is that even possible? Right as Bella's team was getting it taken down, I managed to save a copy. I'd fantasized plenty of times about having Michael under me, but I never thought some random person online would Photoshop it into reality. Thrilled, I immediately shared it with my bestie. Maya was the only person who knew I had a thing for Michael. Bestie. Look. This position would totally wreck Michael's back. My bestie didn't reply. Probably slacking off in the bathroom on company time again. I stared at the picture, zooming in and out, never getting tired of it. The person who made this was a real artist. They even managed to make Michael's 8-pack and collarbones look incredibly tempting. Too bad there was only one. I thought for a second, then made a burner account of my own to follow the poster's socials. You never know. Maybe they could produce more masterpieces? Half an hour later, my bestie's message came through. It's manageable. Normally she'd write an 800-word dissertation, but today all I got was a simple "it's manageable." My fingers flew across the keyboard. That pounding on the go move? Michael's back would have him bedridden for 3 days, easy. Last time I sprained my ankle, all he did was carry me to the bathroom and he could barely stand up straight afterward. I'm starting to think he needs to get his testosterone checked or something. Last month, I took too big of a step in my high heels and sprained my ankle. The housekeeper was on vacation. In the middle of the night, I tried hopping to the bathroom, tripped, and went down flat on my face, smashing my chin on the toilet. Michael drove me to the hospital, where I got 3 stitches. After that, he told me to just call him if I needed to use the bathroom. He'd carry me. But how could I keep asking him to do that? My mom and Michael's dad were each other's first loves. 20 years after they'd both gotten divorced, they met again, and their old passion rekindled like crazy. As the baggage, 18-year-old me followed my mom through the door of the Grant family home. The first thing I saw was Michael, fresh from a game of basketball. His white tank top was soaked with sweat, clinging to his perfectly defined abs. I swallowed hard, my throat suddenly dry. This is your Aunt Chen's daughter, Chloe. She's your sister now. Michael's eyes flickered over me, unimpressed. He tossed his basketball into a corner and walked straight past me. I don't have a sister. Cold and ruthless. And for a sucker for a pretty face like me, completely unforgettable. That summer, my mom and his dad couldn't wait to finally take their 20 years delayed honeymoon. They left me and Michael, 2 total strangers, at home together. Before he left, his dad told him, "Take care of your sister." Michael just grunted, his face blank. I didn't know the area or anyone. I was even too scared to grab a midnight snack at home. My only option was to call Maya and go out. One night, a group of us were sitting at a street food stall, eating skewers, drinking beer, and just shooting the shit. I was the only single one in a sea of couples, and I felt totally out of place. To fit in, I made up a boyfriend. That's nothing. My boyfriend works out with his, every single night. Like a dumbbell. Everyone was shocked. Just as I was basking in the glory of having won the conversation, a low voice sounded from behind me. Chloe. I turned around and, to my horror, saw Michael's Maybach parked on the side of the road. He was standing right behind me, and I had no idea how long he'd been there. I robotically turned to Maya, my face going from red to green. When did he get here? Right when you started describing how your boyfriend secretly works out with his junk at night. Maya's eyes lit up. So that's your ruthless piston? He's even hotter than you said. Michael's gaze fell on the lamb skewer in my hand, then scanned the 7 empty beer bottles on the table. Are you done eating? When you're done, come home with me. My heart sank. I shakily stood up, ready to leave. But Maya enthusiastically scooted over to make room. Want to join us for a bite? And to my shock, Michael actually sat down. Someone asked curiously, so, is it really 10 times a night? An hour each time? I jumped up to cover his mouth but tripped over my chair. I ended up falling right into Michael's lap. Through the thin fabric of his pants, the heat from his tense muscles sent a shiver through my entire body. I had never been so mortified. To shut down everyone else's dirty jokes, I surrendered. I stood up, looked at the ground, and obediently called him brother. I'm sorry, Michael. Maya's jaw dropped. She secretly gave me a thumbs up. The car ride home was incredibly awkward. I decided to just pretend I was drunk and passed out. When we got home, Michael was the one who carried me out of the car. His arm brushed against my side, and I almost couldn't stop myself from trembling. When I woke up the next morning, I was surprised to see he was still home. He asked me, "Who's your boyfriend?" I explained awkwardly, "I don't have one. I was just making it up." The tension in the air instantly disappeared. Later, when I wanted to go on a graduation trip, Michael came along, saying his dad had told him to protect me. Every time a guy came over to talk to me, he would conveniently appear right behind me. Thanks to him, I didn't have a single vacation fling. Once summer was over, I moved into my college dorm. Whenever I went home for the month, I would always run into Michael. He'd either be on the phone or working in his study. During my junior year, my mom asked me at the dinner table if any boys were chasing me. When I was your age, I was already with Michael's dad. I didn't hide anything. There are 2. One is the captain of the basketball team, and the other is the head of the street dance club. My mom's face lit up. Just as she was about to say something, Michael put down his chopsticks and said he was done eating. I figured he was just full, so I ignored it and excitedly pulled out my phone to show my mom pictures. After that, Michael started picking me up from campus at the end of every month. One day, the basketball captain walked me out and casually ruffled my hair. "Chloe, don't forget to come cheer me on at the game next week." After saying goodbye, I had just gotten into the passenger seat when Michael suddenly leaned over. I held my breath, thinking he was going to help me with my seatbelt, but he just opened the window. "How long has it been since you washed your hair?" he asked, looking straight ahead as he started the car. "Huh. I wash it every day." I instinctively grabbed a lock of my hair and sniffed it. "It smells," Michael said flatly. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. I rushed into the bathroom and washed my hair 3 times as soon as I got home. After graduation, Maya dragged me along to her brother's company. Her brilliant plan was for us to mooch off her brother together. Alex had just come back from abroad to take over one of his dad's subsidiary companies. Under his care, the 2 of us were living the dream, sending each other pictures of hot guys all day. At that moment, I still hadn't realized the gravity of the situation. I was staring at the typing indicator at the top of the chat, wondering why Maya was being so slow today. "What's up? Constipated?" Too busy to reply. Just as I was about to call her, I suddenly noticed something. Wasn't the color of this profile picture a little off? I clicked on it to see the full image, and my blood ran cold. It was Michael. My brain short-circuited. My hands shaking, I switched back to Maya's chat, only to find that the little witch had, at some point, changed her crayon Shin-chan avatar to a picture of the Hulumber grasslands. Michael's avatar was the Ulaanbaatar grasslands. Their display names were July and mid-July. I immediately shot Maya a message. "When did you change your profile picture?" She replied instantly, "Last Monday. It was the 1-year anniversary of my ex cheating on me. I ran into that scumbag yesterday, and he looked so good I wanted to scratch his face off. Seeing my ex thriving just made me want to die on the spot." Last Monday? Trembling, I scrolled up through my chat history with Michael. "Hey girl. Do you think your brother has hemorrhoids? My brother spends 2 hours in the bathroom every night." Maya, "No. Me, you have to try this breast massage." I went from AB to AD. I'd even attached a picture of my proud achievement. So the person who replied it's manageable was also Michael? What did he mean by manageable? The position was manageable? Or, his back was manageable? My phone felt so hot I could barely hold it, and my face was on fire. How could a person be so spectacularly mortified in the exact same way twice? My phone buzzed. An incoming call from Michael. I fumbled, trying to decline it, but my hand slipped and I answered instead. "Hello. It's your mom's birthday today. Dad wants me to pick you up and bring you home. Actually, I can get their mice." Beep. He hung up, just like that, leaving me stunned and flustered. I bolted to the restroom and banged on the stall door where Maya was scrolling through videos of guys with 6-packs. "I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die." Maya was so startled she almost dropped her phone in the toilet. As she fumbled with her pants, she dropped to one knee. "What? What happened? Did my brother's company go bankrupt?" "It's okay. We can just go mooch off my dad's company." I shoved my phone in her face, showing her the chat history. Maya fell silent. Maya said nothing. Maya just took in all the drama. "Ha ha ha, you're so screwed. You sent Michael a picture of your boobs. And you asked him if his back was okay?" Maya threw an arm around my shoulder. "Girl, just confess already. It's not like you two are related by blood." I hung my head. "Don't joke around. Doesn't he have a serious girlfriend?" The trending topic Michael Grant Bella Hotel Rendezvous was still all over social media. The photos showed them walking into a hotel, one after the other. If he wasn't okay with it, would he have let people take pictures like that? And it wasn't the first or second time. Maya looked at me sympathetically. "All right, fine. I'll introduce you to some hot jocks from the local college." She snatched my phone. "So you texted the wrong person? Easy fix." I watched as her fingers flew across the screen, sending a string of 7 or 8 high-def, uncensored videos. Michael responded with 3 question marks. Before I could even gasp, Maya sent another message with a wicked grin. "Exclusive VIP content. Subscribe for $28.88 per month to unlock the full library." Perfect. She tossed the phone back to me. "Now he'll just think your account got hacked." I stared at the Michael is typing, in the chat window. After a long moment, it disappeared. So, did he buy it? He had to have bought it, right? I let out a sigh of relief. When I got off work, it was pouring rain. I stood under my umbrella by the side of the road, waiting for Michael. My phone buzzed. The mysterious blogger had accepted my friend request. "Do you have any more pics?" I typed quickly. Exclusive content replied instantly, "Yep. 10 a pic, buy 10 get 3 free." How could I resist? I immediately sent him $100, and he sent back 13 high residential photos in a flash. In the pictures, Michael was holding me in the shower. There was another one where he was kneeling in front of me, his head bowed. I was blushing furiously while looking at them when a pair of bright headlights flashed in front of me. I looked up and met Michael's deep, unreadable eyes. I guiltily locked my phone, my heart pounding. "What are you looking at that's so fun?" "Just, funny videos." I got in the passenger seat and didn't dare look up the entire ride. The AC was a bit chilly, and I sneezed. Michael turned up the temperature. While we were stopped at a red light, he reached into the back seat and grabbed his suit jacket for me. Put this on. Don't catch a cold. Wrapped in his jacket, his unique scent filled my nose. The private collection of photos I just bought started playing on a loop in my head. My face felt like it was on fire. When we got out of the car, Michael looked at me, then suddenly leaned in, pressing his forehead against mine. Why are you so hot? Are you running a fever? My breath caught in my throat. His eyelashes were long and curled, and his lips were full and pink. He looked very kissable. I swallowed hard as a firework went off in my brain. And no. It's just hot. I stammered, opened the car door, and fled. As soon as I got inside, I frantically grabbed our housekeeper, Mrs. Huang. Where's my mom? Sir took Madam to the Maldives for her birthday. Mrs. Huang looked past me in confusion at Michael, who had just walked in. Didn't the young master tell you? Michael told her to go make a bowl of ginger soup. I know now, I heard him say. I froze on the spot, my mind buzzing. Michael knew perfectly well that no one was home, and he still made a point to pick me up. What kind of birthday party was this? I picked at my dinner, barely tasting anything. He suddenly got a call from a childhood friend. After hanging up, he asked me, Leo's new hot spring resort is having its soft opening. It's the weekend tomorrow, want to go relax? Before I could even process what was happening, he had already asked Mrs. Huang to bring down my suitcase. Wait a minute. When did he ask Mrs. Huang to pack my clothes? The resort wasn't far. It took us an hour to get there. It was full of Michael's friends. Leo's girlfriend, Sophie, linked her arm through mine warmly. Chloe. Want to go for a dip in the private hot springs? I was desperate to escape the awkwardness around Michael, so I quickly agreed. In the steamy, misty pool, I carefully made my way toward the deeper end. Until I bumped into a warm wall. Startled, my foot slipped, and I instinctively grabbed onto a nearby pole to steady myself. A pair of hands firmly caught my waist. A suppressed grunt sounded next to my ear. I turned around in surprise. Through the hazy steam, the lines of Michael's abs were faintly visible, dotted with beads of water that made his nipples look absolutely delicious. All my late-night fantasies suddenly became real. Wow, you're even hotter in person than in the pictures. I swallowed hard, and the pole in my hand twitched. Wait a second. That feeling, was that? Terrified, I let go and tried to back away, but my foot slipped again, and I started to fall. Michael's reflexes were quick. He pulled me back up. My lips crashed hard against his collarbone. Michael, what are you doing here? I asked, tears welling up in my eyes from the pain. This is the men's side. His arm was wrapped around my waist, keeping me from slipping. You went the wrong way. The wrong way? But Sophie said it was this one. She said she'd forgotten something and told me to go on ahead. I hadn't even looked at the sign on the door. I just walked right in. The water rippled as Michael let go of me and took a step back, leaning against the stone wall of the pool. Sorry. Michael. I scrambled out of there in total humiliation. Hiding in my room, I waited for my heart to stop pounding before I texted Maya about the embarrassing scene in the hot spring. So you just ran away without copping a feel? You already fell, you should have milked it for all it was worth. Me, I didn't get to touch his abs, but I did touch something else. Maya got it instantly. Girl, give me the details. How big was it? There was a knock on the door. I opened it to find Sophie standing there, inviting me out with a bright smile. Chloe, going to bed so early? We're playing truth or dare, and it's more fun with more people. Come on. She didn't take no for an answer and just dragged me along. The room was already packed. An unexpected person was there, Bella, whose real name was apparently by G. She was sitting next to Michael, casually pouring a handful of sunflower seeds into his palm. "Here, something to do." Ethan stood up and waved me over. "Chloe. We're the only single ones here, come sit with me." He patted the empty spot next to him. Suddenly, a few sunflower seeds hit Ethan on the head. Michael gestured for Bella to go sit next to Ethan. "Chloe, come here." Bella wouldn't move. She looked at me, then at Michael, and laughed. "Michael, are you still treating your sister like a little kid? What are you going to do when she gets a boyfriend? Tag along on their dates?" Michael stood up and looked at Ethan. "Ethan, switch seats." I was stunned. Bella watched me with a knowing look. I reluctantly sat down, and Michael poured a pile of shelled sunflower seeds into my palm. Weren't those the ones Bella had asked him to shell for her? Should I eat them or not? Beside me, Bella smirked, grabbed another handful of seeds, and shoved them into Ethan's hand. "You're not leaving tonight until you've shelled every single one." The game began. Bella had terrible luck and was chosen 5 times in a row. After chugging 5 glasses of alcohol, she collapsed onto Ethan and started taking a 9-picture selfie grid. I snuck a glance at Michael. He was being cheated on right in front of everyone, but he still looked completely unfazed. In the second half, I was finally picked. Leo rubbed his hands together excitedly. "Chloe, truth or dare?" "Me, truth." Bella sat up straight, a slight smile on her red lips. "You've never dated before, have you? You look like such a goody two-shoes." "No, I haven't," I said, my voice dry. For some reason, the whole room erupted in suggestive cheers. When the bottle pointed at me for a second time, Leo whistled. "Do you have a crush on someone?" "Yes," I said quickly. The last round, it was me again. I was starting to think this was a setup. Ethan winked at me. "A name. We want a name." I grabbed my glass, but Bella caught my wrist. "It's not someone in this room, is it?" "No." I blurted out. Michael's hand, which had been shelling seeds, paused. "That's enough." Just as the atmosphere started to feel tense, the sky outside exploded with fireworks. The fireworks show was starting. Feeling guilty, I headed outside. The night air was a little chilly. Michael draped his jacket over my shoulders. Bella, who was following behind us, yanked Ethan's jacket off him. He was shirtless underneath. He crossed his arms over his chest, looking bashful. Bella pulled his hands down. "You're a grown man, can't you be a little more confident? Besides, you have such a great body. It's a shame not to show it off." With that, she flicked his chest. I was shocked. Michael turned my face forward. "Watch the fireworks." When we were heading back to our rooms, I was about to open my door when I felt a room key for 302 in the jacket pocket. It was Michael's. As I walked up to room 302, I saw that the door was ajar. I knocked twice gently. "Michael? You left your room key in my..." Suddenly, a few suppressed moans came from the bathroom. The frosted glass door was fogged with steam. "Chloe, Chloe." I was frozen in place, listening as heavy breathing mixed with the sound of the shower. It wasn't until a choked-out groan ripped through the air that I snapped back to reality and stumbled backward, knocking over a chair as I fled. Back in my room, I lay on the bed, covering my burning face, my mind a complete blank. That hoarse Chloe felt like it had been seared into my eardrums. My phone vibrated. It was a message from Michael. "Got the key card. Was in the shower, didn't hear you knock." What did that mean? He was being so casual. Had I just imagined it? The next morning, when I showed up with dark circles under my eyes, Sophie exclaimed, "Chloe, did someone punch you in the eyes?" I could only offer a lame excuse. I have trouble sleeping in new places. At the door, Ethan and Bella walked in, one after the other, a strange tension between them. There was a bite mark on Ethan's neck. Bella's lip was cut and a little swollen. Someone had a wild night, huh? Leo said with a smirk. Looks like the battle was pretty intense. Bella kicked him. What are you looking at? There was a mouse in my room last night. I was trying to catch it. There are mice here? Michael glanced coolly at Ethan. A very large mouse. Ethan's ears turned bright red. Huh? What was that all about? Monday. When Maya came to find me, she was screaming into her phone. Alex, you bastard. You're trading company shares for me going on a blind date? What am I, a prize pig at the county fair? She hung up angrily and went on a tirade. That jerk said if I don't go on the date, he'll fire me and cut off my allowance. Wow. The nerve. What kind of future does a guy who pimps out his own sister have? She lifted her head. Come on, Chloe, it's lunchtime. Let's go make this sucker pay. At the restaurant, by the window, a man with silver hair sat with his back to us. The hand holding his glass had long, elegant fingers. Damn, what a view from the back. I could stare at that back for a year, Maya said, practically drooling. As long as his face isn't a total disaster, I think I could get on board with this. As we got closer, the man heard us and looked up. Maya gasped and grabbed my hand. Hey, Aiden? This was the boy next door she'd been talking about for 10 years? The one that got away, the guy all her other boyfriends were just pale imitations of? He was even more devastatingly handsome in person. Silver hair, star-like eyes, and a look that was 3 parts distant and 7 parts gentle. Little Maya? Aiden chuckled. You've grown up so much. Maya bashfully pulled me to sit down with her, her face as red as a tomato. I tactfully tried to find an excuse to leave when my eyes drifted to the window. Across the street, a black Maybach was stopped at a red light. The window slowly rolled down, and Michael's gaze cut through the bustling traffic to meet mine. I felt a strange pang of guilt and immediately looked down, playing dead. On my phone, a message from Michael popped up. Dad and your mom are back today. Remember to come home. Me, okay. All afternoon, Maya was giggling at her phone, locked in a heated chat with Aiden. I messaged exclusive content on my socials to see if he had any new pictures. He replied instantly, yep. 50 a pic, 20 pic minimum. Me, why the price hike? Exclusive content, don't ask. Someone reported me recently, business is tough. This person is out for my blood. Who did I even piss off? I felt a pang of sympathy. It was probably one of Bella's fans who reported him. Exclusive content, this is the last of my inventory. After this, I'm going into hiding for a while. I bit the bullet and spent $1,000. The new material was definitely worth it. I saved it all, planning to examine it closely later that night. When I got home, I didn't see my mom or her husband. Didn't he say they were back? Michael had Mrs. Huang bring out the food. Where's my mom? Mrs. Huang explained, Sir and Madam said they won't be back tonight. There's a meteor shower in Sea City, so they rushed over. They said they wanted to relive their youth. Seriously? They were old enough to be grandparents and they were chasing meteor showers? I was speechless. Michael, did you just find this out too? Yeah. The dinner table was silent. Michael shelled a shrimp for me and put it in my bowl. You didn't eat enough at lunch? Huh? I said. Was your blind date too broke to buy you a decent meal? He added darkly, that guy with the white hair, he doesn't look like a good guy. I almost choked. That's Maya's first love. A tiny smile flickered across Michael's lips before he suppressed it. Well, he and Maya are a good match. What about you? What's your type? I felt like he was trying to get something out of me. I popped the shrimp in my mouth. Mature, stable, but he's already taken. Chloe. Don't be stupid, Michael said, looking up at me. My nose suddenly tingled, and I felt an inexplicable sense of hurt. I'd moved out as soon as I graduated to try and suppress my feelings for him. But people aren't machines. When you like someone, you just like them. I know. I put down my chopsticks, said I was full, and hurried upstairs. I was telling Maya all about it when she suddenly sent me a video. Chloe, guess who I just saw? The video was of Bella and Ethan. Under the dim, hazy lights of a bar, Bella was straddling Ethan's lap, kissing him passionately. I gasped. My first thought was, this is undeniable proof. Michael's been cheated on. I grabbed my phone, intending to go tell him. When I got to his door, I remembered what happened last time and knocked a few extra times. A weak voice from inside said, "Come in." Michael was collapsed on the carpet, his face pale. I was shocked. He had been perfectly fine just a little while ago. How had he gotten sick so fast? I touched his forehead. Wow, he was burning up. Michael, you have a fever? He grabbed my hand and pressed it against his scorching cheek. Chloe. Michael's breath was hot. This dream feels so real. Michael, you're not dreaming. I tried to help him up, but he pulled me down with him, pinning me underneath him. He opened his eyes, dazed, our noses almost touching. Why am I dreaming of you again? Chloe, you haven't been in my dreams for so long. It's my fault. What I did to you last time, please don't be mad at me. Excuse me? What did he do to me in his dreams? I'm not mad. Now get up, get into bed, and I'll find you some fever medicine. Michael suddenly captured my lower lip, nibbling on it gently. Is this okay too? You're not mad at me, Chloe? My brain exploded. He kissed me in his dreams? Could it be? I swallowed hard and gently coaxed him. Michael, what else did you do to me? His hand slowly slid under my shirt, the heat of his palm making my whole body go weak. Here, the Chloe in my dreams really liked this. My pupils dilated as I bit my lip to hold back a moan. Michael, why are you doing this? Because, thinking about you is the only way I can fall asleep at night, Chloe. I don't know how I let things get so out of control, how I let it go to the very last moment without stopping him. As the sky began to lighten, I tiptoed around, picking up the clothes scattered on the floor, and fled back to my room. Two little figures were fighting in my head. Angel Chloe, I took advantage of him while he was sick and delirious. I'm not human. I'm an animal. No, I'm worse than an animal. Devil Chloe, hee hee. Who cares? Michael was the one who seduced me. I finally got a taste. It was delicious. After showering, I still felt uneasy, so I grabbed the fever medicine and snuck back into his room. I felt his forehead. The fever had broken. It seemed like our passionate night was more effective than any medicine. But the more I thought about it, the more I felt like I had taken advantage of him. What if? What if he was just delirious? Using the excuse that I was late for work, I hastily left the house. On the way, I called Alex to ask for the day off. Alex, sure. You and Maya have fun on your hike. By the way, which mountain are you guys hiking? I froze. Hiking? Her excuse for taking the day off was that she was with me? I instinctively answered, Mount Verde. After hanging up, I immediately called Maya. When she answered, a soft moan came from the other end. I quickly hung up. Why? Because it sounded exactly like me last night. I typed out a message on WhatsApp. You little wench, did you find a human jackhammer or something? Going at it day and night and using me as your alibi? Half an hour later, Maya called back, her voice lazy and satisfied. Just finished up. What's up, Chloe? I snorted. I don't want the details, my ears might get pregnant. Who is it? She said shyly, Aiden. I gasped. Have you guys even known each other for 24 hours? That's rocket speed. Maya's tone turned serious. Chloe, do you believe that with some people, no matter how long they've been gone, it feels like they never left. Before Aiden's family had their troubles, he was going to confess to me, but he never got the chance. After his family went bankrupt, my brother found him and forced him to leave. He made a promise to my brother that he'd come back and marry me when he was successful. If he failed, he'd let me go on forever, never knowing he had loved me. Congratulations, you finally got your wish. I was genuinely happy for her. I had lost count of the nights I'd watched Maya in a bar, drunk, mumbling Aiden's name to an empty bottle. Her ex-boyfriends used to ask me who Aiden was. All I could do was smile wryly and say, he was a dog she lost. After hanging up, I opened the group chat Leo had created for the resort trip, found Bella, and sent her a friend request. Just when I thought she wouldn't reply, I got a notification that she had accepted. Me, Mississippi Bye, do you have a minute to chat? Bella, Chloe? What's up? Me, it's about you and my brother. With that, I sent her the video from the bar. Bella's reaction was completely unexpected. She sent me some money with a note, great angle. You made me look really good. I stared at the screen, stunned. A second message popped up, for this video, I'll grace you with my presence. At the coffee shop, Bella sat down across from me, the faint red marks on her neck still visible. My cheeks flushed, and I worked up the courage to ask, you don't like my brother anymore? She burst out laughing and took a sip of her coffee. When did I ever like your brother? Or rather, when has your brother ever had eyes for me? We're on two completely different planets. I was stunned. But the internet said you too. And there were pictures. I took out my phone and showed her. A passionate kiss under a streetlight, a blurry side profile of them sharing cake in a hotel, an embrace while out and about. All the media pointed to Michael. Bella shook her head, tut-tutaying. It's so blurry, how could anyone think that was Michael? I was completely lost. She gently tapped my forehead, exasperated. No wonder Michael was dropping hints until he was blue in the face. It was like talking to a brick wall. You silly girl, look closely. She zoomed in on the kissing picture. The width of these shoulders, this height difference, these fingers, does any of this look like your brother? My breath caught. The man in the photo was clearly Ethan. He was in a car accident a while back and got amnesia. He forgot me. So I had to leak our old photos, hoping to jog his memory. But I never expected the media to be so blind as to mistake him for Michael. Chloe, I have to apologize to you for this. To see Ethan's reaction, I begged your brother to ignore the rumors. It all clicked into place. So, my brother knew the whole time? What do you think? Bella raised an eyebrow. Who could possibly force Michael Grant to suffer in silence? I felt embarrassed. So, has Ethan gotten his memory back? The doctor said the blood clot is pressing on a nerve, so he might never remember. But it's also possible that one day, it'll just come back to him. But now, it doesn't matter if he remembers or not. She proudly held out her hand to show me the ring on her finger. I made him fall in love with me once, I can make him fall in love with me a second time, a third, a million times. Bella suddenly stared at me. But what about you, Chloe? Are your feelings for your brother really just sisterly affection? Michael used those photos to test you, too. The second you showed them to me, you proved that you care. Her question cut through the fog in my mind. His hot breath last night, his hoarse whispers. Chloe, don't cry. I just want you so badly. Every word felt like it was going to melt me. It wasn't a delusion. It wasn't just my one-sided fantasy. He really liked me too. Thank you. I shot up from my seat, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it would burst out of my chest. An unprecedented wave of courage and joy washed over me. I had to go find him right now and tell him, face to face, that I felt the same way. It wasn't just a crush. It was love. I called a car and rushed home, only to be stopped at the door by a frantic-looking Mrs. Huang. Miss? What are you doing here?" "I took the day off," I said, confused by her panic. But you said you were going hiking." Mrs. Huang stomped her foot in distress. This is bad. I have to tell the young master." "What's wrong?" A sense of dread washed over me. Her voice was thick with tears. "The young master didn't see you this morning, and his face went white as a sheet. He asked me where you were, and I said you went to work. But then he called Mr. Alex, and Mr. Alex said, he said you and Mississippi Maya went to hike Mount Verde." Mrs. Huang anxiously showed me her phone screen. A breaking news story was trending. Urgent, massive mudslide on Mount Verde. Multiple hikers missing. My vision went black, and the world started to spin. "Michael went to that mountain to find me?" I fumbled for my phone, but the screen was black. It must have died at some point. In my passion-fueled haze last night, I had completely forgotten to charge it. I borrowed Mrs. Huang's phone and bolted out the door. Mount Verde wasn't far from the city. It was a popular hiking spot. The view from the top was breathtaking. I had told him about it countless times. But I never imagined there would be a mudslide. In the speeding car, I dialed his number over and over, a number I knew by heart, only to be met with the cold, robotic voice of his voicemail. Suddenly, the phone rang. It was my mom, her voice frantic. "Chloe. Are you okay?" Mrs. Huang said Michael went to Mount Verde. "Is it true?" I could hear my stepdad trying to calm her down in the background. "Yeah." The single word took all my strength, and tears streamed down my face. It was all my fault. If I hadn't run away. "Chloe, come back," my stepdad said, grabbing the phone, his voice filled with panic. "We've already contacted the rescue team, and they're on their way. It's too dangerous for you to go alone. Mr. Grant, he went there because of me." I sobbed, a chill running through my body. I have to find him. I have to see with my own eyes that he's safe. There was a moment of silence on the other end, then a sigh. My stepdad finally gave me the number of the rescue team leader, but not without a stern warning. "When you get there, you wait. Do not go into the mountain by yourself, do you hear me? Chloe, your mother and I can't bear the thought of losing both of you." Outside the car window, dark clouds hung low, and the rain fell without stopping. The road into the mountains was completely blocked off. The chaotic crowd was filled with cries and groans. Injured hikers huddled together, waiting for rescue in the rain. My heart pounded in my chest as I stumbled through the crowd, frantically searching for his familiar face. He wasn't there. He wasn't anywhere. An old man with an injured leg was yelling at a rescue worker. "Hurry. A young man fell into a crevice over there trying to save me. Go, quickly." I practically threw myself at him, holding up the photo on my phone with a sliver of desperate hope. "Sir, was it him?" "Yes. That's him," the old man said, grabbing my arm, his voice trembling. The young man pulled me out from under a fallen tree. I told him we should retreat together, but he insisted on going further up, saying he had to find someone very important. Then a boulder came rolling down and hit him. He choked up, unable to continue. "Miss, is he your?" "He's my brother." Tears mixed with the rain, blurring my vision. Suppressed sighs rippled through the crowd around me. Someone muttered, "Falling into a place like that, especially with this rain, sigh." My legs gave out, and I nearly collapsed. The rescue team leader, Captain Gavin, caught me. "Mississippi Jiang, stay strong. We will do everything we can. I'm going up the mountain with you," I said, clutching his wrist, my eyes blazing with determination. Captain Gavin couldn't argue with me and had to call my stepdad for permission. Finally, he sighed. "Stay right behind me. Do not wander off on your own." The mountain path was completely ravaged by the mudslide. With every step I took through the mud, my heart sank a little lower. Suddenly, something under a nearby rock caught my eye. I picked it up. It was Michael's phone. I looked around excitedly. If his phone was here, he couldn't be far, right? But he wasn't. Captain Gavin and his team were also shouting Michael's name. The hope that had just begun to swell in my chest started to deflate. I looked at the phone in my hand. The screen was mostly cracked, and it only had 10% battery left. His lock screen was a picture of me from my graduation ceremony, where I was the MC. I was wearing a yellow dress, smiling from ear to ear. I remember asking Michael that day if he could come to my graduation ceremony. He had been busy with work and had told me flatly, "I have a meeting. I can't make it." I had been disappointed for a long time. But he had come after all. He had been hiding somewhere in the audience, and he had even taken a picture of me. I opened his photo gallery, and my breath caught in my throat. It was filled, wall to wall, with pictures of me. Me hiding in the garden when I first moved in, talking to myself while feeding a stray cat. Me sneaking to the fridge for a midnight snack. Me waiting excitedly for him at the school gate to pick me up on Fridays. Me yelling at my phone while on a call with Maya, furious about some jerk. He had always been there, but he had never told me. Rain and tears splattered onto the screen, and my heart ached with a pain so sharp it felt like it was being squeezed into a tiny ball. "Here. We found something." Captain Gavin's voice suddenly rang out. I scrambled over, half running, half falling, to where he was pointing. It was a dark, bottomless crevice, half hidden by rocks and broken trees. A team member shone a flashlight down, but all we could see was a vague outline. "Michael!" I screamed, leaning over the edge, using every ounce of strength I had. Silence, deafening silence. Just as I was about to forget how to breathe, a faint reply came from below. "Chloe." It was him. It was him. He was alive. Captain Gavin immediately shouted down, "Mr. Grant, how many people are down there with you? What's the situation?" Michael's voice was intermittent. 5 people, 3 adults, 1 woman, 1 child, all alive. The rescue operation began immediately. The team braved the constantly falling rocks and debris, painstakingly clearing the entrance and lowering ropes. Every second felt like an eternity, an agonizing wait. The first person they brought up was the child, followed by his mother. 1, 2. My heart was in my throat. The rain suddenly intensified, making the rescue even more difficult. "Hurry. The last one. Pull him up," Captain Gavin yelled. When that familiar figure was finally pulled over the edge of the cliff, I stumbled toward him and threw my arms around him with all my might. Michael froze, his hands hovering in mid-air, as if he didn't know whether to touch me. I grabbed his hands and pressed them firmly against my trembling back, burying my face in his chest, feeling his heartbeat. "Michael, hold me tight. Please." The next second, his arms snapped shut, pulling me into a fierce embrace. It wasn't until we got to the hospital that I found out Michael had broken his left leg. He had been shielding the little boy when a falling rock hit him. The boy's mother posted her thanks online. Netizens quickly figured out who Michael was, and the comments section immediately went off topic. "Isn't that Bella's rich husband? He's handsome and kind. I heard he saved more than one person. Entrepreneurs like him deserve all their success. Am I the only one who noticed that Mr. Grant looks devastatingly handsome even when he's covered in mud?" Bella quickly liked the post and reposted it with a clarification. Official statement: "My husband Ethan is right here. Mr. Grant's wife is someone else entirely." Shortly after, Michael's private account was updated for the first time in ages. There was no caption, just a single photo. It was a picture of me in the garden at sunset, carefully bandaging the leg of a stray cat. There was a comment from exclusive content: "Oh my God. Isn't this the couple I've been shipping? I saw this girl in person once, and the way Mr. Grant looks at her could melt ice." I was reading this comment while chewing on a slice of orange he had just peeled for me. My heart was overflowing with sweetness, but I still asked playfully, "Michael, were you planning to make a move on me from the very beginning?" He took a tissue and wiped the juice from the corner of my mouth, his eyes dark and intense when he looked up. Not from the very beginning. Just from the first time you walked through the door. I froze, countless moments of him ignoring me flashing through my mind. So it wasn't that he disliked me, he was just desperately trying to control himself? Then why didn't you just tell me? Michael sighed in exasperation. I did. More than once. The first time, your freshman year of college, I tested the waters and asked you what you thought of me. You said I was a great guy. And that you had a roommate who was perfect for me and asked if you should set us up. The second time, you came home drunk from a class reunion, pushed me onto the sofa, and started kissing me, slurring something about kidnapping me to be your mountain king. I held you and asked if you would be my girlfriend. You yelled, clear as day, that you'd be a dog if you said no. The next morning, you woke up and apologized, asking if you'd gotten drunk and hit me last night. The third time, his voice dropped, tinged with a hint of bitterness. You moved out without a second thought right after graduation. I thought, you finally couldn't stand being under the same roof as me anymore. My jaw dropped. I wished I could go back in time and shake some sense into my clueless past self. But thankfully, after all the twists and turns, we were finally together. Suddenly, I remembered something and sat up straight. Wait. Do my mom and your dad know? Michael smiled. They were the first ones to see through me. They talked to me a long time ago and said as long as you were happy, they would be too. He paused, a hint of amusement in his voice. Why else do you think they always just so happen to need a romantic getaway every single holiday? Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a video call from my mom. On the screen, my mom and stepdad were at the beach. Chloe, honey, is Michael's leg any better? You have to take good care of him. Mom. Were you guys all in on this together, plotting against me? I exclaimed, mortified. Oh, please. Even the stray cat that comes around for food could see how Michael felt about you. You were the only one in the dark. So dense. My mom teased mercilessly. I angrily ended the call. When I turned around, I met Michael's deep gaze. He intertwined his fingers with mine, his voice laced with a hint of grievance. The doctor said my left leg can't get wet. I almost slipped in the shower last night. Tonight, could I trouble my Chloe to help? I instinctively retorted, you only broke your leg, not your. I trailed off as I met his suggestive gaze, and my face instantly caught fire. Well, it is getting late. I stammered, swallowing hard. I'll go run the bath for you. Epilogue. Late one night, I suddenly remembered the long silent exclusive content. Out of boredom, I sent another message. You there? Got any more inventory? I'll pay top dollar. He replied more than 10 minutes later. Lady, please, give me a break. That was the last of it. Mr. Grant almost took down my entire operation. He had his men come and confiscate my computer and hard drives. I stared at my phone, dumbfounded, then looked at Michael, who had just fallen asleep next to me. So, the Photoshop genius who had made my face burn and kept me up at night was being personally hunted down by my own husband? Another afternoon, Michael borrowed my phone and accidentally opened the photo album I had named Study Materials. By the time I realized it, it was too late. The air grew thick. He pulled me onto his lap, his arm wrapped tightly around my waist, his fingers slowly and deliberately swiping across the screen. Care to explain? His warm breath tickled my ear. One by one, he flipped through the pictures, all the masterpieces I had paid a small fortune for from exclusive content. His finger stopped on the picture I had accidentally sent him. His Adam's apple bobbed. I seemed to recall someone saying this position would wreck my back. I was so embarrassed I wanted to bury my face in my hands. Michael gently lifted my chin with his finger. Mrs. Grant, theories require practical application. Why don't we test it out right now? And see whose back gives out first. His eyes were dark as he stood up, carrying me toward the bedroom.